What's up, welcome back. I'm John Stark from MovieGuy.com, and this movie's celebrating its 30th anniversary. And not all anniversaries need to be celebrated. This is Junior. The only reason I'm reviewing this is because it had audio description on Netflix. It's been a while since I've seen Junior, and I'm not gonna. I think if you've been paying attention to my anniversaries, I've been pretty much trying to tackle classics and get those out of the way and use this time to celebrate the great films. Anyway, I have on a Pizza Planet shirt today from Toy Story. I've got my black baseball cap on backwards and black sunglasses. And this film does have audio description on Netflix, but it's leaving at the end of the month, so I don't know if I'm not in a rush for Junior, so sorry. This will come out when it comes out. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody. This is not going to make anybody want to watch Junior. I don't think anybody wants to watch Junior. I just find it like interesting that the film has audio description. Um, did I like the audio description track? Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was made by a company I never heard of before, and literally that kind of blew my mind. I was like, what is this company? Why have I never heard of them before? I couldn't even I was trying to get stuff to write down, because usually when I'm watching a movie, sometimes I'm like, there are things that I can remember. I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, so it's I can easily remember the name of a company that I know, and generally a narrator that I know, or I'm like, I'm ready for that. And this was just like a company. It was like Ace Narrations or something like that. I was like, what? Hold on. And then I forgot it. I was like, fucker. I was like, what did you just say? It's just some weird company that I'd never heard of before. To Junior. And yeah, very weird. So but it's Schwarzenegger, DeVito, reteaming after twins. This is the idea that they came up for them. It's Emma Thompson, Frank Langella, God, who else is in this? Pamela Reed, who did Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so it's a reteam for them. It's like it's a side reteam. It's also oh, look at what else we got. Also, Ida Totoro is in this. She ends up being in The Sopranos later on. For any Sopranos fans, I'll point that out. And also, Christopher Maloney is in this. For Christopher Maloney fans, of which there are many. Junior is everything that's wrong with it. It's the man's getting pregnant, which is supposed to be the joke, and which leads to all of these weird sort of transphobic jokes. And there's this scene where Arnold is trying to get into this, I want to say a day spa type thing for pregnant women. I don't know, maybe it's a doula type thing. I have no idea what he's trying to get into, but he starts, obviously because he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's trying to pretend that he's the wife. His naming the character is Alex, and for the scene there, he's Alexandra. And so he's trying to explain, he's yes, I was on the German Olympic team track and field, and they pumped us full of steroids, and we didn't know what I'm like, good God, man. It's just sad to see the talent that's attached to this, Ivan Reitman directing, and the cast, and everybody in 1994 was like, oh, this movie will be fun. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and I think the movie at some points does have some moments that are fun. I think Arnold is having fun in it, and that is what makes the movie have fun, is that it's so ridiculously stupid and asinine. And he's having fun saying things like, my nipples hurt, my nipples are, he's, he's acting like a pregnant woman the whole time, which, again, a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger's comedy is always thinking about what is the weirdest thing we can make him do, and let's find the humor in that. So the weirdest thing they can make him do is be pregnant. Just The whole premise of Kindergarten Cop is, let's put Arnold Schwarzenegger with a bunch of little kids and see what happens. And I love Kindergarten Cop. Here it just gets a little weird, and they start trying to bring science into it, and they start trying to explain it like it makes sense, like this could ever actually happen. They're like, oh yeah, well, we'll inject it into the perineal cavity, and it should be able to grow there for at least a month, and then we'll transfer it later. How? What are you talking about? Like, what? Emma Thompson also plays like a klutz in this, but of course, like an adorable klutz that will eventually fall in love with, at least one of the characters. Uh, and Pamela Reed is basically the same character she played in Kindergarten Cop. I mean, she's at like the same level of sass. She comes in here, perfect for Danny DeVito. Feels like a character written for Danny DeVito, but she also feels like the same thing she was just doing in Kindergarten Cop, just like the same level. Frank Langella is great at just being a villain, just being like, "Hey, what's up? I'm here to be the bad guy," but also like only like a quasi bad. Like my level of evilness is uh this is a comedy, so like how far are we really willing to go? I don't know. It's problematic. It doesn't hold up. I just think it's hilarious. The movie has audio. I love that like there's so many classic films I see all the time. I'm like, does that have audio description? No. But like we put audio description on Junior. I love that was the priority. That this film, they were like, oh my god, we have to get audio description on Junior. Did somebody ask for this? Was there like, there's like a Gilmore Girls petition of over like 10,000 signatures, but Junior has audio description. I'm just like blown away. I'm kind of loving it. I just, the whole thing is bizarre to me. So of course I had to tackle it because I realized, oh my god, this movie came out in 1994. It's the 30th anniversary. Yes, I've only ever seen this film once. I saw it when it came out. I have never seen it again. It's not really a film you need to see multiple times. This movie has a 4.7 on IMDb, which I felt was high. Um, and I am into Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies. Like, even his bad movies. Like, I like The Sixth Day. I do. I find The Sixth Day to be at least somewhat entertaining. I like Jingle All the Way. I love Kindergarten Cop. So, and to be fair, here, I think there's something here. I just don't think anybody actually cared to have any sort of consultation in 1994 with being like they were never thinking about like, will this film hold up? How is this film gonna age? Is this film gonna age well at all? And I would have loved for a different filmmaker to be on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd love to see somebody jump in with maybe like a shot at asking those questions. Junior, directed by Harvey Fierstein. What does that look like? I mean, if we're gonna do it, like let's have some sort of like thought process behind it and see what comes out. Because I think maybe there is something behind the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger pregnancy thing, but at the same time, there are so many jokes here that just they just don't work anymore. It's just, yeah, I don't know. This is not a good film. I don't know who's still watching Junior. Obviously, I just messed up Netflix's metric. They're like, oh my god, somebody watched it. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing really positive to say here. It's weird. Every other anniversary release I've done has been because the film's been good. This is the one film where I was like, oh no. Well, except Street Fighter. But, yeah. I don't know what to say about this film. I don't want to give it an F. I don't. I mean, like, conceptually part of me does, but that means that there's absolutely no redeemable value in this film at all. And that would take away the fact that I think Emma Thompson is doing a good job, and I don't really find her role to be problematic. Anyway, like, singularly, if you just kind of like look at it from her perspective, like there are things happening around her, but like she's fine. I'm sad that she's in this movie. I think Frank Langella is fine as a villain. Like, I mean, like, it's a fine performance. He doesn't really have too many problematic things that happen. But and Pamela Reed, like, if I look at individual performances and go, what are you doing? What is this? Is this okay? Well, some of this is, it gets kind of into the weeds though when you kind of look at the Danny DeVito Arnold Schwarzenegger relationship, and playing them off as, and then like having these like wink wink nudge nudge gay couple like jokes, and all those kind of things. It gets a little kind of like, I don't know, man. This is, I don't think, I mean, we're not even that far from like the birdcage, by the way. We're like 2 years away from the birdcage. So 2 years from now, they figure out how to do this in a way that's clever, and not with, I mean, without obviously making either of those characters pregnant, but I mean, like, they find out a way to make a comedy. Um, this is just, you know, this is an odd film, such an odd film. And to think that like Ivan Reitman was like, yes, this is what I want to do with my life, is this film. Uh, I can see why Arnold wanted to do it, because he was probably like, oh, of course, I see the hilarity in me being pregnant. It is like, conceptually, if he was the first pregnant man, it'd be hilarious. When you think about it, you're like, of all the people in the world, the least likely person, like, how did that even happen? Like, where, and especially when you think about like in his action star, he released this the same year he released True Lies. This is the same year as True Lies. He did True Lies and then he did Junior. So when you really break it down, it is just a batshit crazy idea, a batshit crazy film that we really just, if it wasn't on a streaming service, I don't think anybody would notice. I think this is a film that there might be like a niche audience out there that like wants to own this on physical media slash streaming. So put it out there, I guess, but it's so weird that this is like, we're transferring it around. It has audio description. Like we're putting it out there. Like it's a classic. This is Junior. Everybody wants to see Junior, right? No. Who was asking for this? Anyway, I just thought it was funny. I wanted to share that with you, that Junior's out there in this world, because it's one of those things that like, if you've seen it, I mean, like, I was thinking so many things. I was watching this movie, I was like, what if they made a Junior musical? Because they made a Mrs. Doubtfire musical. They were like, I know this movie's getting some pushback, but what if we did a musical? Like, what if Rob McClure was in it? Would you like it more? Would you be okay with that? Junior is just, with Mrs. Doubtfire, you can look at it and you can find the humanism in the story in it, because it's a dad who would literally do anything to spend time with his kids. That is the core story of Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, he would have dressed up in anything. It's not just that he's doing drag. It's not like, it has some bad jokes that don't hold up, but you could have made him do anything. That Mrs. Doubtfire could be anything. It's a film about a dad that wants to spend time with his kids. And he would have dressed up as a dog, if it, like anything, to be able to do that, is the vibe of that film. This film there really isn't really another way of like going through that. It's really just, because it doesn't really explore too much. Like, there's a science project, it kind of gets canceled, and you're like, well, what was your science project? And why does it have to be, their immediate reaction is, well, we have to have a host, so it must be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, why? Like, I don't understand it. I conceptually, I feel like they were trying to find a way to, I think the original scientific project behind this was just to try to find a way to, I don't know, increase the likelihood of pregnancy, or, to help, sort of like, rapid IVF. But there's no real need for it to be inside Arnold Schwarzenegger. They never really answer that question. They're just kind of like, well, it's either me or you. Daddy's like, well, it's either me or you, and I guess it's you, right? We'll put it inside you, and it'll be fine. And then we're just like, okay, cool. I don't know. I'm gonna go with no on that. This is such a weird film. And part of me wants to say watch it, because it's so weird. It is so weird. It doesn't hold up. It's a film that when you watch it, you'll be like, oh my God, they made this? This is a real film? This is a real film with real stars in it. And it's still out there. And we're still like, people are still watching it. I wonder, like, I want to do like a podcast with the cast and be like, do you guys regret being in this film? Like, what is. I have so many questions. I'm glad I got to share this experience with you. If you've seen Junior, please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, because it is one of the weirdest, most bonkers concepts. And uh, it's not good. It's not a good film, guys. But at the same time, it's like one of those things. Like, if you really wanted to look at it, I'm not going to tell you no, man. If you know, like, I heard for years Howard the Duck was terrible, and I had to see it for myself. You know, I had to. At a certain point, I was like, I have to see this. I'm sorry. I need to see this for myself. I can't keep having people telling me about Howard the Duck. I have to see Howard the Duck. And I saw it. I was like, that's really bad, but in a really shitty, entertaining way, though. Like, in a really just sort of bizarrely. I don't think this would be that for you, but maybe it will be. Maybe you'll look at this and you'll be like, oh my God. And then you'll have fun making fun of it. Maybe this is like the future of Mystery Science Theater. It's not going to be science anymore. It's just going to be Junior, which kind of has science involved in it. Anyway, I don't really know what to do with a grade here, because it's flexible. It depends on how much you enjoy watching bad movies. This is not a good film, though. I'm just gonna say it's rotten. Somewhere on the rotten side. It has to be. Even if you enjoy bad movies, you still have to recognize that it is a bad movie. I don't know that there's a way to spin this. I don't know who the people are that are being like, oh yeah, fresh. I don't know why this has like 57 Metacritic score. Who are the people that are fighting for this film, and why? Like, what's happening here? Why? Like, no, this is. Anyway, Junior, it's out there. Whether you like it or not, it's it's out there in the world. I feel like it's a Saturday Night Live skit. That's all we needed, was like 5 minutes. So we got a movie. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.